Human engineering relies heavily on force. We use a method you could call heat, beat, and treat, melting materials down at extreme temperatures, hammering them into shape, and applying harsh chemicals to finish the job. Compare that to the natural world. Nature has been running its own research and development program for 3.8 billion years. It builds highly efficient, complex structures at room temperature without toxic byproducts. In the 1960s, a scientist named Herbert Simon illustrated how nature achieves this with a story about two watchmakers. One builds a watch piece by piece from 1,000 individual parts. If he drops it, it shatters into a chaotic pile. The other builds small, stable 10-piece subassemblies, then clicks those together. This represents biological organization. Nature stacks simple, stable modules to construct massive complexity. Curious, if we want to solve our own most difficult engineering and medical problems, we don't need to invent entirely new mechanisms from scratch. We simply need to look at the right level of nature's hierarchy, starting at the level of the whole organism. Take a look at this original Japanese Shinkansen bullet train. Its blunt front end created a massive wall of air resistance. When the train exited tunnels at high speeds, that built-up pressure caused a loud, destructive sonic boom. To solve this friction problem, engineers redesigned the train to copy the shape of the kingfisher's beak. Because of this aerodynamic profile, the bird can dive into water with barely a splash. The resulting train design was 10% faster, quieter, and used 15% less electricity. We see this principle in material science too. Here, the Namib desert beetle survives in arid climates by using a dual-textured, bumpy shell. It stands on its head during the morning fog, allowing water droplets to pool on its water-loving bumps and slide down water-repelling channels directly into its mouth. Wonder. In the ocean, sharks manage to stay completely free of algae and barnacles. Their skin is covered in microscopic, tooth-like scales called denticles that make it physically difficult for organisms to latch on. By copying this exact texture into a synthetic material called sharklet, designers created a surface where bacteria cannot easily grip. It is now used in hospitals on high-touch areas like door handles to stop superbugs without relying on chemical cleaners. Analytical. Copying the physical shape of a whole organism is an effective way to solve mechanical problems. But when the threat is microscopic or internal, macro-scale solutions fall short. To fight those threats, we have to zoom down to the cellular level. In the late 19th century, the chemist Louis Pasteur introduced a concept that forced medicine to look inward, the germ theory of disease. Through his experiments with fermentation, Pasteur realized that invisible, microscopic organisms were transmissible, moving from host to host and causing severe infections. His key innovation was attenuation. By exposing a patient to a weakened pathogen, the host's immune cells lock onto it and store its shape. The body learns to destroy the disease without suffering the full infection. Humanity had moved beyond mimicking biology to actively weaponizing living cells against invading microbes. But a new challenge arises when the error comes from inside the house. What do we do when the glitch is written directly into the body's own blueprint? Tracking that blueprint required a different scale of research. It began with Charles Darwin studying how physical traits were passed down through generations. The theoretical idea of inherited traits eventually became tangible. In the 1950s, scientists mapped the actual physical structure of the genetic code, the DNA double helix. That understanding culminated in 2003 with the completion of the Human Genome Project. For the first time, we had a complete readout of the human source code, outlining the precise genes responsible for how the body grows and functions. Knowing the code unlocked gene therapy. Scientists engineer harmless viruses to dock with human cells and insert healthy DNA. Now, CRISPR makes this even more precise. Acting as microscopic scissors, it actively cuts out faulty genetic instructions and pastes in the corrected code. By reaching the bottom of the biological hierarchy, we have evolved past harnessing biology as a passive tool. We are now directly editing the foundational instructions of human health. From editing molecular DNA, out through the cellular defenses of the immune system, to the macro scale of organisms, We have mapped the biological hierarchy. Our approach has shifted completely. We started by observing nature from a distance. Then we began copying its physical designs to build faster trains and cleaner hospitals. Today, we rewrite its core code to cure inherited diseases. Biology is no longer a natural science we study passively. It is a highly optimized 3.8 billion-year-old technological toolkit. The most advanced innovations of our future won't be invented from scratch. They will be reverse engineered.